Can I Not Marry audio web novel chapter 04 Do Lacey the Married Women. Although 2 million isn't any less, but fainting for 2 million is really justifiable. But student Do Lacey isn't aware of this point. Right now she is considering how to make 2 million. 2 million. 2 million for an unemployed female youth with no beauty and family background is just a distant concept only. Even if she cracked her head open, she still couldn't figure out how to earn the money. Obviously, President Lian didn't intend to give her time to consider this. He lightly lifted his dashing eyebrows and casually said, "Is Miss Du prepared to pay in cash or by check?" Do Lacey weakly raised her head. I actually have no money. She thought that the president would be exactly like the landlady. His facial expression would change, then coolly spat out the following sentence, "Then I will see you in court." However, the president didn't react that way. He unemotionally said, "Miss Du can also choose not to repay the money, however." He spoke until this point and didn't say anything further. At this time, Do Lacey thought the president was giving her multiple choice. She can choose to have a diamond ring. Of course, if she doesn't have the ring, then she has to sacrifice herself. Since becoming an adult, this was the first time Do Lacey found her self-value so high. However, as a principle of an urban woman, how can she sell herself out? In any case, she slightly struggled and asked, "Is there no other options available? For example, I can work for free." "Excuse me, Miss Du, what do you know?" the president asked. Quote ellipsis quote. Do Lacey thought for a moment, "Actually I used to be a reporter, I know how to write, if you need me make tea that's not a problem." "Is that a secretary?" The president titled towards Jason's side and made a gesture. "Help Miss Du calculate how long she must work as a secretary to pay off the sum of money." "Yes." Jason obeyed the order and asked, "Excuse me, Miss Du, do you have an accounting certificate?" "No." "Do you know a few foreign languages?" Do Lacey lowered her head and thought, "Does level 4 in English count?" "Do you know computer programming? Do you have typing skills?" "I also want to ask, can you drink socially?" "I can still drink a few glasses of beer. This is generally what a secretary does. In our Lian enterprise, a secretary's monthly salary is 2,500, a year would be 30,000. If Miss Du can neither eat nor drink and work 67 years for Lian's enterprise, then you should be able to pay off the debt. Of course, if Miss Du work overtime weekly perhaps it'll reduce a couple of years." After Jason finished speaking, in front of Do Lacey flashed an image of a 90-year-old granny sitting at the computer, filing away files for Lian's enterprise. This made her shiver. "Well, has Miss Du considered your options?" At the same time the president also spoke. Do Lacey had a distressed expression as she raised her head. "You didn't tell me that the diamond ring was real. I also didn't say it was fake." As Do Lacey was fighting her inner struggles, she suddenly had a bright idea. "In fact, we don't really need to get married for real. You just want to reassure the old madam, right? I accompany you to act well. You may rest assured, I will act as if it's real." As she said this, she felt particularly proud. All the plays she watched in the past has not been in vain, it not even written in the books. However, there was no expression on the president's face as he asked the next question. "Do you think the old madam wouldn't send others to the Civil Affairs Bureau to check?" Do Lacey was almost covered in tears. "Mother, those romance novels are deceptive. Deceptive." Student Do Lacey's emotions was on the verge of collapsing when she made the most unscrupulous concessions. "After marriage is it possible to divorce?" "Of course, after the old madam passes." Do Lacey calculates President Lian's grandmother was already 88, bedridden. If she's lucky she wouldn't even need to go through with the wedding. The elderly have gone to see Buddha. Although this idea really malicious, but not a bad way to delay the time, with the current situation she can only drag it day by day. So Du Lacey raised her head and said, "Okay, I promise to marry you." Student Du Lacey thought when rich people want to get married, they place much importance on meeting each other parents, then pick auspicious day before preparing for the wedding and banquet. Altogether would at least take 1 month to prepare. However, no matter how much she calculated, she forgot to include an important factor, the groom. What type of person is the president? A businessman. Businessmen are always the smartest and most efficient. The president waved his hands. They immediately gone to the Civil Affairs Bureau to register. Du Lacey had serious doubts. The president must have made up his mind before he actually came and knew she would submit. Or else who would have their bank account booklet and identity card on them and complete the registration when say so. It's just that the poor Du Lacey came to her senses so late. When she realized something was wrong, 2 wrapped redskin marriage certificate were present before them. China's marriage certificate, congratulations, wishing you to remain happily married to a ripe old age and may you soon have a dear son. At this moment Du Lacey regained her conscience. She has jumped from the unmarried column and hurdled to the married column. Henceforth she is a married woman. As for all the steps before marriage such as dating, watching movies, shopping, kiss and marriage proposal, she didn't get to enjoy nor experience them. Even the so-called marriage proposal, where she thought him was part of a reality TV show, should be ignored. As for the groom, is needless to say, from the first meeting to finally wed, they have not known for more than 24 hours. Du Lacey suddenly wanted to cry, so life can be full of so many ups and downs. She turned to look at her so-called husband, who revealed little emotions in his eyes. She couldn't help but be filled with 1,000 regrets. Of course her regrets weren't flew up into the branches become phoenix, nor was it married into a rich and powerful family, or clamber over the dragon and follow the phoenix. She lament with a tinge of emotion the president could remain so calm. Feeling strange looks from the side, Lian Jun turned and saw a certain person staring at him continuously. This made President Lian feel uncomfortable. He slightly frowns and asks, "What are you looking at?" "No. Nothing." Du Lacey hurriedly looked away. She pretended to look at the scenery outside the window. For a moment it was silence. She couldn't help secretly glance again. That glance surprised her because President Lian was still staring at her. Who would believe what was written in romance novel? A handsome rich prince falling in love with the gentle and beautiful Cinderella at first sight, and live a happy ever after. Unfortunately, Du Lacey considered too little. She was neither gentle or beautiful, so it wasn't possible for the president to be blind to that extent. Seeing Du Lacey's idiocy glaze, Lian Jun understood her head must be thinking of some very silly things. Therefore, he sighed and reluctantly turned away. The president's sigh pulled Du Lacey back from her fantasy. Again she upsetly lowered her head. Indeed, romance deceptive. Deceptive. The two remained silent until the car slowed down and stopped in front of a luxury villa. A surprised Du Lacey stared at the window outside and asked, "Where is this?" Behind the president billows out of a fashion voice, "Our home."